Hello my friends. So I wanted to pop on today to work on my How to Kill a Kit with Style. My second kit. I've blown through my first kit for the most part this month, and now I'm working on the add-on kit, in the Counterfeit kit community Facebook group is what I'm really working through. But I'm using my How to Kill a Kit with Style kit to do that. And I'm doing a couple other challenges as well because I always like to see what I can have fun with, what I can add in, all that kind of stuff. So I'll show you the papers I'm going to use, and I'm going to try to figure out the direction I am going. Now, let's see. I have in this kit, this is a cardstock I have, and it's really like a dove gray. It has some warmth in it. I have this really great, I think this is Dear Lizzie. It has words on it. I've got this, looks kind of like watercolor wonky stripies, and I have this aqua hexagon scrap. And let me show you the photos I'm looking at. I have these two square photos here, and this is my dog Mason, and I took him on a little road trip this week with me to pick up a quarter cow. And where that processing area was, they had this champion goat that had just won 4-H club up there. So pretty neat, kind of interesting. And this here goat, who I still don't know his name, it was a boy. He and Mason had the same reddish tone to them, and they were cute because they're all happy to see each other and bouncing back and forth along the gate, visiting and getting to know each other. And it was super cute. I have video too. Okay, then I have that. And I'm going to use this sketch right here from Redefined Creative. This is the Thursday sketch of the week, so I'm going to hurry up and get this processed up, photographed, all that kind of stuff to try to enter in to win a little goodie. And, oh my goodness, there's so many things I'm doing. I'm going to mix Mind the Scrap challenges with this, and those are tricky. That is using some kind of animals. And guess what? Animals. So that works. I need to use some kind of wet mixed media. So I'm thinking this Heidi Swap Color Shining Gold as well as navy to bring out this navy color right here. I need to use stars, and that's just not that hard to get stars on. Some kind of a shape, so I'm going to go with square for my shape, and it has to be a shape that you cut out. So I'm thinking blocks. Because I only have 2 photos, so I'm going to have square block shapes. And I have to use 5 of the exact same elements on the page. So I'm going to do that. Rediscover Your Stash has has mixed media for their try to get stuff used this month. Oh, and Scrap Squad had all these challenges in a crop last week that I could not take part in, but I still want to work through. And I'm going to use squares as my design idea from Scrap Squad. Phew. So, I've got a lot going, a lot of planning, but I'm going to start by trimming my photos and running to get my navy colored Heidi Swap Color Shine. And you know what I'm going to try to do too? I think I have this color corally color shine as well. So I'm going to grab those. I'm going to go ahead and speed up the film for the next part so it does not seem this terribly, or well, I don't know if it seems long or not to you. But I'm going to get that going, and then I'm going to come back and do the voiceover for the next bits. Here we go. So I'm going to start with the idea of using this gray color for my cardstock base, and I want to figure out exactly how I want to do this grid part with the photos. And the second photo there, I just put a tiny bit of tape because I'm basically just using it for a place marker so I can measure in the size that I want this grid. So I'm going to go ahead and get that grid established. I'm doing the same thing, putting it on the bottom. That's just like my easy peasy measuring tool idea that I'm using. So as you can see there, it's on a really neutral background, but I have a lot of punches of color. So I think it's kind of fun that you see there. And then I'm going to go ahead and use blocks of these these other pattern papers in here as well. I have gone through this second kit for the Counterfeit Kit Challenge so happy, so quick, so however you want to put it. And I'm really surprised because, like, for the most part, this month for How to Kill a Kit with Style, I did go ahead and do 2 full kits, but they were so inspiring that, and the combinations were so fun that it was really easy to get through them. So I did go ahead and put my 2 blocks of pattern paper on the bottom part of this layout. And now I'm going ahead and setting up how I want my photos to work on the grid part of this stripey block. So I do go on the struggle bus just a tiny bit, trying to get in this aqua paper that I am going to end up using for the other color blocks. I'm going to end up wanting to have more of a solid paper for the other blocks because I'll end up popping all kinds of embellishments and all that kind of stuff on them, and I already have quite a few pattern papers. Not that I have any fear of pattern paper whatsoever. I'm really close to the end of my kit on this one, so I'm using scraps and pieces left over. The aqua paper that you see was the other color of the coordinating cardstock that I used from the kit. I believe the kit that we were following along with had 3 pieces of cardstock, so that's what I did as well. So I will, oh, and you see I went ahead and put the sketch in the upper right corner. I didn't have that in originally, but I went ahead and popped it in because it serves as a reference for both you and I to kind of see what we're trying to do here. I am going to go ahead and jump in and use the some other pattern papers that I have for my leftover scraps. I've used them in previous layouts, pieces of them, but I'm going to go ahead and do that because you see in the sketch above that there are these blocks. They look like squares. Not sure if they're supposed to be squares, but they kind of look like that, sticking out from different angles beneath the square block of photos. Now, I don't know if I would go ahead and repeat this design many more times. I don't know if I like the blocks just sitting on a wonky angle, but it was fun to follow along with it and have a sketch do some of the thinking / work for me on this one. I do like when it cooperates and does so. So I realized that I like this little extra piece that's sticking out on the left side, and I had another scrap left, and it's from this really kind of color-rich October afternoon paper. I'm going to go ahead and put that in as well. That paper, that color is in the striped block paper I used. And you won't see the whole thing, but it does add yet another color, but it adds a place for my little tag to rest. And you see there's a tag in the sketch as well. So I was just mimicking that pretty closely on this one. I don't always do that. There is a circle element on the sketch where it says title, and I chose to go ahead and throw a doily in. I've been doing quite a few challenges lately with doilies, so it was sitting on my desk, and I said, hey, if I don't have to put it away, that will work for me. Now, it would have been a little smarter if I went ahead and did that before I had to dig my block back up, but it all works out. All right, so we have the whole base of the layout, and now this is the fun part where we get to do the title and the decoration. So it's always like my process is pretty simplified. I 99% of the time scrapbook from a kit. I get inspired by sketches, challenges, Pinterest. Give me something and I am off and running with how I get inspired. And I get the base part of my layout done using challenges, and then I go ahead and get the title in, and it's decoration time. So, because people do ask, what's your process? How do you know what to do? And I swear, it's like everybody kind of has their own way that they go about their crafting, and there's absolutely no right way, no wrong way. It's whatever way works best for you and that you enjoy yourself. So this is what my process is. And you know what? The process continually changes. It's always going to change, but this is the way I've been doing it for, the last year or so. So this is the part where I'm going ahead and looking at the different embellishments that I have in my kit to audition them to decide. And by audition is like, I'm not sticking them down. I'm deciding what I like where. What I could use, what makes sense. The travel stuff, that enjoy the journey, go, all that stuff, it was because my baby Mason went on a road trip with me. And we went off and had ourselves an adventure. It was 3 hours to the northwest of us, pretty much like a straight diagonal, to the northwest of where I live, almost over on Lake Michigan. And so that's where the travel stuff comes in ever so nicely. You see right there, I'm going ahead and using this washi tape that I've included into my kit. I'm using that to break up the two pattern paper blocks. And yes, it is another pattern, but I like the bright punch of color, and it lends itself to the brighter elements that I have that I'm going to be using. Like, do you see the Pink Fresh elements that are on the right? Pink Fresh is great about saturating their products with color. So I knew I wanted to use a bunch of them, so I thought I better punch it up just a little bit. So, little disclaimer here. You may hear somebody snoring next to me. It is not a human, it is a dog. I have 2 dogs taking a little nap next to me while I do a voiceover. I tend to do voiceovers either relaxed sitting on the couch or in bed with a cup of coffee. So the boys love it when they see me on my iPad, getting set up to do this kind of stuff. They literally rush on over and lay down so they can nap with their mom. But I mean, lots of you have been with me for a long time, so you're used to the musical stylings of their little smashed face snores. So that's that. So anywho, back to the layout. The Enjoy the Journey die cut, that was part of the Pink Fresh collection. I'm going to go ahead and put that in the center of my photos. It just so happened that there's a diagonal space between the 2 photos that doesn't have anything super important. And that's going to bring all 4 of those quadrants kind of in and marry them together. Now, I really love this epoxy clip that says Go. It's by Pink Fresh. So I'm going to put a little wet adhesive on the back of that, stick it down. You see me squishing it a tiny bit and getting that element in place. I think it's really important to commit to the elements that must be on your page, and then the rest is just kind of like icing on the cake. I'm going ahead and making sure the word the is at a nice straight angle on my page. Oh, the sun must have been coming in and out. I'm right in front of a window where I'm crafting this, so it's I'm getting a little fluctuation with how the sun is coming and going. So I'm making a nice little embellishment cluster to the upper left, and that's doing a few different things. A, it's interesting, but B, it's also giving me some embellishment clusters and letting me use yet more of my supplies. I love using up product. It feels like some kind of victory anytime you actually use up first of all, a washi tape. That's huge. But if you use up an embellishment pack, it always feels like you actually scored, like something pretty darn fantastic. You know what I mean. I know you know what I mean. So I'm going to go ahead, and I was going to put the word strips down below the cluster, and then I did see in this sketch, you see how they have the strips of words or whatever we were supposed to put there, the little banner looking pieces on the left of the photo. So I decided to do the same. So this is truly the last little bits. Oh, I knew I wanted to add in some of that deep green that you see there. So that was also in the Pink Fresh collection. They had that really nice like evergreen color that's in there. So I just added that to a couple of the places to you know what I mean, because I need it in more than one place. So that works out absolutely beautifully. I didn't know if I was going to like this travel collection as much as I have been because I do travel. Like this past year, I haven't been traveling as much as I had in the previous 6 to 8 years, but I think anytime we get in the car and go for more than a half hour, we can call it some kind of a travel adventure. That's what I'm keeping to. Oh, you see that nice little heart clip? That's from an older One Canoe 2 collection. They are in my kit. I've been doing my utmost trying to get those used up bit by bit in here. I had opened it. It was a brand new package that I had opened when I made this kit. And that was one of the elements that was kind of to be highlighted in this kit. I think it was for Challenge 1 on the Counterfeit Kit Challenge blog and Facebook page. So I was able to work them in. Wasn't that hard since I already had them in my kit though. So I do have, for clips, I guess, I have the One Canoe 2 one, and as well as the Go Pink Fresh one. So working the clip options there. I went ahead and put a third little word strip because I tend to like things in odd numbers. And remember I said that I had to get some stars in? I think I did. And stars are not that hard to get in on layouts. Hearts and stars I can pop on to just about any layout whatsoever. I'm using these, I don't even know what collection they're from. I've had them for quite a long time. They look kind of like, oh gosh, Studio Calico, but I'm not sure if they are. And then I was looking around. I needed 5 of the same thing on a layout. So I'm going with 5 yellow sequins, and I'm going to fight to get them back in the packaging, but I will be using 5 yellow sequins. So I'm going ahead and I got my mist spray splatter box, whatever you want to call it, and I'm going to get some mist put in there. I'm protecting the photos. You guys all know what I mean by that, and I'm going to go ahead and do some nice splatters. That's the Heidi Swap Color Shine in Navy. I have gold, and I also have coral, I believe is the color. I think at one point I had them all, and I don't know if I've ever used an entire bottle, so wouldn't that be a goal for this year, is actually to use up a couple bottles of mist. I mean, geez Louise. But I don't use a lot of plain cardstock, so I felt that it was kind of fun to mess it up a little extra. It just feels plain to me. I'll see people do minimalistic looking scrapbooking and it looks beautiful, but it's just maybe not for me. Okay, anywho, to the business side, if you would like to put a like and a subscribe down below, I would really appreciate it. YouTube pays attention to that kind of thing. If you want to be notified when I put up a layout next, go ahead and hit the notification button. And what else? Oh, if you want to make a comment down below or a question, I answer usually within about 24 hours. I like to sit down and chat with my friends and answer any questions or comments or whatever that you might have. What you see me doing right there is I grabbed out some of my Vicky Bouton puffy stickers. They're like embossed puffies, and scattered the kind of wood grain brown ones in a few different places since we were definitely out and about outside with these two boys making friends with each other. And this is where I'm going around. I'm like, okay, I have these crepe paper stickers and I was trying to see if I could make them work, and I realized my layout was just about done. So right here is a still shot of the layout. And that's about it for today. I hope you like where this went. Thanks for watching.